Do you or someone you love carry pain that feels like it will never end? Whether it's the ache of physical illness, the weight of emotional wounds, or the emptiness of spiritual struggles, healing can sometimes feel out of reach. But have you ever paused to think, who is the true source of all healing? Who is the one who mends the broken and restores what feels lost? There is a name of Allah, Ya Shafi, that holds immense power. It means the healer, the one who cures all illnesses, whether they are seen or unseen, of the body or the soul. But here's the question: how often do we truly call on Allah with this name? How often do we place our trust in His ability to heal, even when all hope feels lost? Think about this. Medicine can treat you, doctors can guide you, and time can play its role, but who ultimately gives the cure? When all resources seem to fail, when the answers aren't clear, and when no one understands the depth of your pain, Ya Shafi is the name that reminds you that healing comes from Allah alone. He is the one who listens to the silent prayers of a mother by her child's bedside, who eases the hidden sorrows that no one else can see, and who restores the strength you thought was gone forever. Let me share something to reflect on. There was a man who had been bedridden for years with a mysterious illness. Doctors couldn't find the cause, and every treatment seemed to fail. In his darkest moments, he turned to Allah, repeating Ya Shafi with tears in his eyes. Day after day, he placed his hope in Allah, even when his body felt weak and his mind was filled with doubt. Slowly, his condition began to improve, not all at once, but little by little, until one day he stood on his feet again. He would later say, "It wasn't just my body that was healed. My heart found peace in knowing that Allah never abandoned me." This is the power of Ya Shafi. It is a reminder that no illness, no pain, no hardship is beyond Allah's ability to heal. And healing doesn't always mean the removal of pain. It can mean the strength to endure, the peace to accept, and the hope to move forward. When you call on Ya Shafi, you are placing your trust in the one who knows you better than anyone else, the one who understands the depths of your pain and holds the power to bring relief. Today, we'll explore what Ya Shafi truly means and how calling on this name can transform the way we approach healing, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Let's uncover the beauty and wisdom behind this name and see how it can bring light to even the darkest moments. Are you ready to take the first step in understanding the power of Ya Shafi? Let's begin with its meaning and significance. 1. Understanding the name, Ya Shafi. Ya Shafi is one of Allah's most beautiful names, and it means the healer. It is a name that carries immense comfort and hope, reminding us that Allah alone has the power to cure all forms of illness, whether they are physical, emotional, or spiritual. When we call on Ya Shafi, we are not just asking for relief from pain. We are acknowledging that Allah's healing touches every part of our being in ways that no one else can. To truly understand this name, think about what healing means. It's not just the recovery of the body, it's the restoration of peace to the mind, strength to the soul, and hope to the heart. Ya Shafi tells us that healing comes from a higher source, a source that knows us better than we know ourselves. While medicine, doctors, and treatments are means, the ultimate cure always comes from Allah. He is the one who allows the medicine to work, who gives wisdom to the doctors, and who decides when and how healing will happen. Let me share a story about a woman who discovered the power of Ya Shafi. She was a mother whose young son had fallen gravely ill. The doctors tried everything, but his condition continued to worsen. Day and night she stayed by his side, her heart heavy with fear and sadness. One evening, after hearing her son's faint cries, she fell to her knees and whispered, "Ya Shafi, heal my child. No one else can help him but you." With every tear, she repeated the name, pouring her heart into her prayers. Days turned into weeks, and while there were moments of doubt, she never stopped calling on Ya Shafi. Slowly but surely, her son began to recover. The doctors called it a miracle, but she knew it was the mercy of Allah. Later she said, "That trial taught me that healing doesn't just come to the body, it comes to the heart. I was broken, but through Ya Shafi, I found strength and hope." This is the essence of Ya Shafi. It reminds us that healing is not always instant and may not always come in the way we expect, but it is always guided by Allah's perfect wisdom and mercy. When we call on Him with this name, we are acknowledging that He sees the pain we carry, even the pain we don't speak about. We are trusting Him to provide relief in the way that is best for us. Ya Shafi also teaches us humility. It reminds us that no matter how advanced medicine becomes, no human being has the power to heal without Allah's permission. Every cure, every recovery, every moment of relief is a sign of His mercy. It is a reminder that we are always in need of Him, that our strength is limited, but His power is infinite. Healing through Ya Shafi is not just about the body. It is about healing the mind that is burdened with worry, the heart that is heavy with sadness, and the soul that feels distant from Allah. When we call on Ya Shafi, we are asking Allah to heal every part of us, to restore what feels broken, and to fill our hearts with peace. Reflect for a moment. How often do we focus only on physical healing, forgetting that our hearts and souls also need care? When you call on Ya Shafi, let it be a reminder to ask for complete healing, not just relief from pain, but peace for your heart, clarity for your mind, and strength for your soul. Let it remind you that Allah's mercy knows no bounds and that His power to heal is greater than any illness or hardship you face. So the next time you or someone you love feels unwell, call on Ya Shafi. Say it with sincerity, trusting that Allah's healing is already at work, even if you cannot see it yet. These words carry the power to transform not just your health, but your perspective, filling you with hope and a deeper connection to Allah. 2. Healing beyond the physical. When we think of healing, the first thing that comes to mind is often physical recovery. A fever breaking, a wound closing, or the strength returning to a tired body. But healing is so much more than that. True healing goes beyond the body. It reaches the heart, the mind, and the soul. This is the deeper essence of Ya Shafi. It reminds us that Allah's mercy doesn't just mend what is visible. It soothes the invisible wounds we carry inside, the ones we often hide from others and sometimes even from ourselves. Life has a way of leaving scars that can't be seen. Emotional pain, heartbreak, anxiety, and regret are just as real as any physical illness, yet they often feel harder to address. How do you heal a broken heart? How do you find peace when your mind feels restless? This is where Ya Shafi brings hope. By calling on Allah with this name, we are asking for a healing that is complete. A cure for the body, yes, but also a balm for the soul and a peace for the heart. Let me share a story of a man who found healing beyond what he could see. He was a successful businessman, admired by many, but inside he felt empty. Years of chasing wealth and success had left him disconnected from his family, distant from his faith, and burdened by guilt. One day, while sitting alone in his office, he came across a video about Allah's name, Ya Shafi. The speaker described how this name doesn't just cure physical pain, but brings relief to emotional and spiritual wounds. For the first time in years, the man felt a spark of hope. That night he prayed and whispered, "Ya Shafi, heal my heart. Bring me back to you." He didn't know what to expect, but over time something began to shift. He started reconnecting with his family, seeking forgiveness for his mistakes, and finding peace in prayer. The emptiness that had once consumed him was replaced with a sense of purpose and calm. He later said, "I used to think healing was only for the sick, but I learned that my heart needed healing just as much as my body. Ya Shafi didn't just restore my faith, it gave me my life back. This story is a powerful reminder that we all carry wounds, even if they aren't visible. Loneliness, fear, and regret can weigh on us, making us feel lost or broken. But Ya Shafi is a name that speaks to every kind of pain. It tells us that Allah's mercy is wide enough to cover every struggle, and His healing is deep enough to reach the most hidden parts of our being. Ya Shafi also teaches us to let go of the idea that we have to fix everything on our own. Sometimes we try to carry our pain in silence, believing that no one can help us or understand what we're going through. But calling on Allah with this name is an act of surrender. It's a way of saying, Ya Allah, I can't do this alone. Heal me in ways I don't even know I need. Bring peace to my heart and light to my soul. Healing beyond the physical is also about perspective. It's about finding meaning in your struggles and realizing that even pain has a purpose. Sometimes the wounds we carry bring us closer to Allah, reminding us of our need for Him. They teach us patience, gratitude, and reliance on His mercy. Ya Shafi is a name that helps us see our trials not as punishments, but as opportunities to grow, to reflect, and to draw nearer to Allah. Reflect on your own life for a moment. Is there a wound you've been carrying silently, a pain you've been hiding even from yourself? 3. Placing trust in Allah's healing power. Trusting Allah during moments of pain and uncertainty can be one of the hardest tests of faith. When healing feels delayed or when prayers seem unanswered, doubt can creep into the heart. It's in these moments that the name Ya Shafi becomes a lifeline, reminding us to surrender our worries to Allah and place our full trust in His wisdom. Allah, the healer, knows the depth of our pain and the exact moment when relief will come. Healing often feels like a journey through darkness, with no end in sight. But when we call on Ya Shafi, we are acknowledging that we don't need to see the path ahead, because Allah, in His infinite wisdom, is already guiding us through it. Trusting in His healing means understanding that His timing is perfect, even if it doesn't align with our own desires. It means believing that He is working behind the scenes in ways we cannot yet perceive. Let me share the story of a young woman who faced an immense test of patience and trust. She was diagnosed with a chronic illness that left her physically weak and emotionally drained. The treatments were grueling, and her condition seemed to improve only to worsen again. In her frustration, she began to question why Allah was testing her in this way. One night, as she lay awake, she came across the name Ya Shafi, and its meaning, the healer, the one who cures in ways that go beyond human understanding. She decided to include Ya Shafi in her daily prayers, repeating it softly with every hardship she faced. Months passed, and while her illness remained, she noticed something profound begin to change. Her heart, once filled with anger and doubt, began to soften. She found herself growing more patient, more accepting of her circumstances, and more grateful for the small moments of ease Allah granted her. One day she reflected, Allah may not have healed my body the way I imagined, but He healed my heart. He gave me strength, hope, and a deeper trust in Him. That, too, is healing. This story reminds us that Allah's healing is not always immediate, nor is it always in the way we expect. Sometimes Allah delays healing to teach us patience. Other times He uses our struggles to draw us closer to Him, and often the healing we receive is not the one we asked for, but the one we needed most. Ya Shafi is a name that teaches us to trust this process, to believe that Allah's plan is always for our ultimate good. Trusting in Ya Shafi also means letting go of fear. Illness, whether physical or emotional, often brings with it a sense of helplessness. We fear the unknown, the future, and the things we cannot control. But when we call on Allah as Ya Shafi, we are placing our fears in His hands. We are saying, Ya Allah, I trust You to heal me in the way that is best for me, even if I don't understand it now. This surrender brings a sense of peace, knowing that Allah's mercy is greater than any trial we face. Think about the times in your life when you faced a difficulty that seemed insurmountable, only to look back later and see how Allah guided you through it. Those moments of clarity remind us that even when we feel lost, Allah is never far from us. Shafi teaches us to hold on to that trust, even when the way forward feels unclear. So, when you find yourself in a place of pain or uncertainty, call on Shafi with a heart full of trust. Let these words remind you that healing is not just about the destination, it's about the journey and the lessons Allah teaches us along the way. Trust that He sees your struggle, hears your prayers, and is working to bring you relief in the perfect way and at the perfect time. 4. Healing the soul with Shafi. The human soul is delicate, and life's trials can leave it scarred in ways we may not even realize. While the body may feel pain and recover, the soul often carries wounds that linger, wounds of guilt, despair, regret, or feeling distant from Allah. These are the wounds that weaken our connection to our Creator, making us feel hollow, restless, or lost. This is where the name Shafi becomes a source of hope, offering healing to the soul in ways that are profound and transformative. Healing the soul begins with recognition that our hearts and spirits need as much care as our bodies. Too often we push aside our spiritual struggles, focusing instead on the visible aspects of life. But calling on Shafi reminds us that Allah's healing encompasses every part of who we are, including the parts we hide or neglect. It's an invitation to open our hearts to Him, to allow His mercy to cleanse us of the pain, sadness, and sins that weigh us down. There's a powerful story about a man who carried the burden of guilt for years. He had made mistakes in his youth, mistakes that hurt his family and distanced him from his faith. Though he had turned his life around, he couldn't shake the shame and regret that haunted him. He felt unworthy of Allah's forgiveness, believing his soul was too damaged to ever find peace. One night, overwhelmed by his thoughts, he fell into sujood and began to cry out, "Ya Shafi, heal me. Heal the pain in my heart. Bring me back to you." He repeated these words, pouring his soul into his prayer. In the days that followed, he began to feel a change. Slowly, his guilt turned into repentance, his despair into hope. He realized that Allah's mercy is greater than any mistake, and that by calling on Shafi, he was asking Allah not only to forgive him, but to heal his heart so that he could forgive himself. He later shared, "I learned that Allah doesn't just forgive sins, He heals the soul that was wounded by them. Shafi brought me back to life." This story is a reminder that no matter how distant we feel from Allah, no matter how heavy our regrets, His mercy is always near. Shafi is a name that assures us Allah can heal even the deepest spiritual wounds, bringing us back to Him with hearts that are whole and renewed. Healing the soul also means finding peace. In a world full of distractions and noise, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Anxiety, fear, and restlessness creep in, leaving us feeling unsettled. But when you call on Shafi, you're asking Allah to calm the storms within you, to fill your heart with tranquility, and to remind you that true peace comes from Him alone. It's a way of saying, "Ya Allah, heal me from the inside out. Replace my fears with faith, my doubts with trust, and my restlessness with contentment." Reflect on your own life. Are there moments when your heart feels heavy, when your mind is clouded by worry, or when your soul feels distant from Allah? These are the moments to turn to Shafi, to call on Allah with sincerity and trust. Healing the soul is not a one-time event. It's a process, a journey of continually seeking Allah's mercy and guidance. Shafi also reminds us to forgive ourselves and others. Holding on to bitterness, grudges, or self-blame can poison the soul, keeping us trapped in pain. But when you call on Allah with this name, you are asking Him to help you let go, to cleanse your heart of the burdens that prevent you from moving forward. You are asking Him to heal, not just the hurt, but the source of the hurt, to free your soul from what weighs it down. So when your soul feels wounded, remember to call on Ya Shafi. Let these words remind you that Allah's mercy is infinite, that He understands your pain even when no one else does, and that His healing can reach the deepest parts of your being. Trust in His power to heal and allow Ya Shafi to bring peace, renewal, and light to your soul. 5. Gratitude and humility through Ya Shafi. Gratitude and humility are two of the most profound lessons we learn through the name Ya Shafi. Healing, in any form, is one of Allah's greatest gifts, and recognizing His mercy in our lives can transform the way we view our struggles, our blessings, and our connection to Him. When we call on Ya Shafi, we are reminded not only of Allah's power to heal, but also of the gratitude we owe Him for the moments of ease He brings into our lives. Think about the times you have felt relief after a period of pain or difficulty. Maybe it was the healing of a physical ailment, the mending of a broken relationship, or the lifting of a burden that once felt unbearable. How often do we stop to truly thank Allah for these moments? Ya Shafi teaches us that every step toward recovery, every breath of relief is a sign of Allah's mercy. It reminds us to pause and say, Alhamdulillah, acknowledging that without Allah, even the smallest blessings would not be possible. Let me share the story of an elderly man who spent years battling a debilitating illness. Each day he endured pain and fatigue, but he never stopped trusting in Allah. Every night he would raise his hands in dua, whispering, Ya Shafi, grant me healing, but also grant me patience to endure. Over time, his condition began to improve, and with each small step of recovery, he would thank Allah. One evening, after regaining enough strength to walk to the masjid, he turned to his family and said, This pain taught me something I never understood before. I used to take my health for granted, but now every step I take feels like a gift from Allah. Ya Shafi has not only healed my body, but has also opened my heart to gratitude. This story reflects a powerful truth. Healing is not just about the end result. It's about recognizing the mercy in every stage of the journey. It's about understanding that Allah is with us, even in the smallest moments of progress, and being grateful for every ounce of strength He gives us. When we call on Ya Shafi, we are not just asking for healing. We are acknowledging that the ability to heal, the tools to recover, and the patience to endure are all gifts from Allah. Ya Shafi also humbles us. It reminds us that no matter how advanced medicine becomes or how skilled a doctor may be, ultimate healing lies in Allah's hands. This realization keeps us grounded, reminding us that we are not in control and that we are always in need of Allah's mercy. It humbles us to see that even the simplest blessings, like a peaceful heartbeat or the ability to stand, are not guaranteed but are granted by Allah's will. Gratitude through Ya Shafi also teaches us to be mindful of others. When we experience healing, it's an opportunity to reflect on those who are still struggling. It encourages us to be compassionate, to make dua for others, and to use our blessings to help those in need. It reminds us that gratitude is not just about words, it's about action. By helping others, supporting them in their trials, and calling on Ya Shafi for their healing, we embody the gratitude we feel for Allah's mercy in our own lives. Reflect for a moment. How often do we take our health, peace, or ease for granted? How often do we focus on what we lack, forgetting to thank Allah for what we have? Ya Shafi calls us to shift our perspective, to see the blessings in the midst of our trials, and to be grateful for every sign of Allah's mercy, no matter how small. So the next time you experience healing, whether it's a small step forward or a complete recovery, remember to call on Ya Shafi with gratitude in your heart. Let these words remind you of Allah's mercy, His wisdom, and His care for you. Thank Him for the healing He has granted, and let that gratitude inspire you to trust Him even more deeply. And when you see others in pain, don't forget to make dua for them, asking Ya Shafi to bring them relief, just as He has brought it to you. 6. Deepening spiritual closeness through Ya Shafi. Healing is not just about recovery, it's about transformation. When we call on Allah with the name Ya Shafi, we are not only asking for relief from physical or emotional pain, but also seeking a deeper spiritual connection with Him. True healing, after all, lies in finding peace with Allah, nurturing our faith, and strengthening our bond with the One who holds all cures. Calling on Ya Shafi is an act of humility. It's a moment when you admit that you are not self-sufficient, that you rely on Allah for your health, strength, and peace. It's not just about asking for healing, it's about returning to Allah, acknowledging His power, and surrendering to His will. This act of calling on Him, especially during moments of pain or difficulty, opens the heart and soul to His mercy, making it a deeply spiritual experience. There's a story about a young man who struggled with both physical illness and spiritual emptiness. He had drifted far from his faith, consumed by worldly distractions. When he fell sick, he felt completely helpless. His wealth couldn't save him, and his connections couldn't ease his pain. One day, while lying in a hospital bed, he overheard a nurse reciting the name Ya Shafi in a soft and soothing voice. Intrigued, he asked her what it meant. She explained that it was one of Allah's beautiful names, meaning the healer, and that calling on it could bring peace and healing. That night, the man began to whisper Ya Shafi over and over. As the days passed, he noticed not only a gradual improvement in his physical condition, but also a profound change in his heart. He began to pray regularly, finding comfort in the words of Allah. The more he called on Ya Shafi, the more he felt a sense of peace he hadn't known before. He later reflected, "My illness was a wake-up call, a reminder that nothing in this world can compare to the mercy of Allah. Ya Shafi didn't just heal my body, it brought my soul back to life." This story illustrates the transformative power of Ya Shafi. It's a name that doesn't just heal, it draws us closer to Allah, reminding us of our purpose and dependence on Him. When we call on Ya Shafi, we are not just asking for physical relief. We are seeking a deeper relationship with our Creator, one that brings comfort to the soul and clarity to our lives. Ya Shafi also encourages us to reflect on our spiritual well-being. How often do we prioritize the health of our bodies while neglecting the health of our hearts? Just as the body needs care, nourishment, and rest, the soul needs connection with Allah through prayer, remembrance, and reflection. By calling on Ya Shafi, we remind ourselves that true healing comes from aligning our hearts with Allah, seeking His forgiveness, and relying on His mercy. Healing through Ya Shafi also teaches us the value of patience and persistence in worship. Sometimes healing, whether physical or spiritual, takes time. It requires us to remain steadfast in our prayers, to trust in Allah's wisdom, and to continue turning to Him even when the results aren't immediate. This persistence deepens our faith, teaching us that every moment of dua, every act of worship, and every whisper of Ya Shafi brings us closer to Allah, even if we don't see the effects right away. Reflect on your own spiritual journey. Are there moments when you felt distant from Allah, weighed down by the worries of life? Have there been times when pain or hardship brought you closer to Him, reminding you of His presence and mercy? These moments are reflections of Allah's love for you, gently guiding you back to Him. Ya Shafi is a name that embodies this love, reminding us that Allah's healing is not just for the body, but also for the heart and soul. So the next time you feel burdened, whether by illness, sadness, or spiritual emptiness, call on Ya Shafi. Let these words remind you to turn to Allah, not just for relief, but for closeness, for peace, and for renewal. Allow this name to transform your perspective, to bring light to your heart, and to strengthen your connection with the One who is always near. 7. Spreading hope and support through Ya Shafi. When we experience the healing power of Ya Shafi, it's not just a personal blessing, it's an opportunity to bring hope and comfort to those around us. Allah's mercy doesn't flow to us for our benefit alone. It's meant to be shared, to inspire, and to uplift others who may be struggling. By calling on Ya Shafi and witnessing its transformative effects, we are reminded of the responsibility to spread this light, becoming a source of support for those who feel lost in their pain. There's a profound beauty in sharing the lessons learned through healing. When you've experienced Allah's mercy, you're in a unique position to help others see that same light. Imagine someone drowning in despair, feeling like their pain will never end. A simple reminder of Ya Shafi from you, a word of encouragement, a dua made on their behalf, or even sharing your own journey, could be the lifeline that pulls them back to hope. It's a ripple effect of mercy, where Allah's healing in your life becomes a means of healing for someone else. Let me share the story of a widow named Amina. After losing her husband to a sudden illness, she was left with 3 young children and a heart shattered by grief. For months, she struggled to hold herself together, barely able to sleep or eat. One day, her elderly neighbor Fatima came to visit her. Fatima had lived through her own share of loss, and as she held Amina's trembling hands, she whispered, "Call on Ya Shafi. He healed my heart when I thought it was broken beyond repair, and I promise he will do the same for you." Encouraged by Fatima's words, Amina began to include Ya Shafi in her prayers. She didn't know how or when relief would come, but she clung to the hope that Allah's mercy was near. Slowly, she began to feel lighter. Her nights grew calmer, her tears turned into moments of reflection, and her heart, though still heavy, found strength she didn't know she had. Over time, Amina became a source of inspiration for others, sharing her story with widows who felt the same loneliness and despair she once did. She would often say, "Fatima's reminder of Ya Shafi saved me. Now it's my turn to pass that hope to someone else." This story shows us the ripple effect of Allah's mercy. When you've experienced the healing power of Ya Shafi, you become a vessel of that mercy, able to inspire and comfort others. Whether it's sharing your journey, offering a sincere dua, or simply reminding someone of Allah's infinite care, your actions can have a profound impact. Spreading hope through Ya Shafi also teaches us empathy. When you've walked through your own trials, you understand the weight of pain and the longing for relief. This understanding allows you to connect with others on a deeper level, to meet them where they are, and to remind them that healing is always possible through Allah's mercy. It's a way of showing them that they are not alone, that Allah is always near, and that their struggles have a purpose. Think about the people in your life, friends, family, or even strangers who may be carrying pain in silence. How often do we overlook the struggles of others, too consumed by our own lives to notice their needs? Calling on Ya Shafi isn't just about seeking healing for yourself. It's about including others in your prayers, asking Allah to ease their burdens and bring peace to their hearts. It's about using the strength Allah has given you to uplift those who feel weak. Spreading hope also strengthens your own faith. When you remind others of Ya Shafi, you're also reminding yourself of Allah's mercy and power. It deepens your gratitude, reinforces your trust in Him, and brings a sense of purpose to your healing journey. By becoming a source of hope for others, you're not just passing on Allah's mercy, you're growing closer to Him in the process.